1, 2, is this on?
Wrestling fans love spotting hidden details, or knowing the backstory behind the little things that happen on screen.
X-Pac slammed the door into my head. Just that part hit me square in the head. I mean, it went all the way down to my skull. Because of this, they actually switched the design of the cage door.
From the secrets behind certain spots, to the things you might have missed.
After I watched it, I was like, yo, why were you blowing your fingers? He's like, because they were slippery. Because that was pretty risky. That was very dangerous. There's no crash pad under us.
And he's inverted. You slip, you fall on your head, it's game over.
Not to mention the stories behind moments that were meant to be kept under wraps.
And I was the guy who noticed that he was reading the teleprompter, and I ran and told Cena. And so when Cena hit him with the, maybe you need to change your glasses, the helicopter and the teleprompter, that was me.
We'll have all this and more today, as we list 10 hidden details and secrets you might have missed in WWE.
Okay, you want to know the secret of the low blow is? You can hit someone as hard as you want, as long as the contact point is between the guys and the butthole.
The Rock and John Cena's feud is infamous, for Cena mentioning how material for a promo was written on Rock's wrist. This occurred on the February 27, 2012 Raw. The Great One was legitimately upset and blindsided by John, which only added to their real-life tension.
90 seconds before my music hit, someone, to not be named, said, yo, do you see that? I think Rock has something written on his wrist. That's just not allowed.
Just like I don't need my notes for my promo on my wrist.
I think John saw that as an opportunity to level the playing field a little bit, which is a very ballsy decision because you're basically violating the trust of your dance partner.
It's not known who told Cena about Rock writing the promo on his wrist, but there was a separate incident where Brodus Clay told John about the People's Champion cutting a promo while reading from a teleprompter. Brodus mentioned this on Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw.
And I was the guy who noticed that he was reading the teleprompter because you could see the reflection in his sunglasses when he was cutting promos on Cena. And I ran and told Cena. And so when Cena hit him with the, maybe you need to change your glasses, the helicopter and the teleprompter, that was me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good nugget.
What, he couldn't afford a plane ticket or rent a helicopter? No, see, Rock chose to stay home and read off a teleprompter. You can see the words in his glasses. Rewind it back, I caught him. Only time you see me, homies, when I'm whipping that rock bottom.
Brodus also noted how Cena returned the favor at WrestleMania 28. Just when Clay's dancing segment was about to be cut due to time constraints, John disappeared to the bathroom. Therefore, Vince had no choice but to send Brodus out. Clay's time was going to be given to Cena and Rock's main event, but John decided to repay Brodus for what he did for him previously.
Getting ready to go out, and Vince shaking his head, and he goes, damn it, I don't think we're going to have to cut it. Oh, man, I got to find a way out of here. And I turn and look, Cena's looking dead at me, and he goes, hey, Brodus, I gotta go to the bathroom. I think it's gonna take me like, I don't know, 4-6 minutes. I said, yeah, about 4 minutes. He said, all right, I'm out, and just walked out. And Vince looked at him and was like, well, shit, go. so I go, and I get my Mania moment because he had to go to the bathroom for 4 to 6 minutes.
Sometimes hidden details are visible in plain sight, but you might not understand what they're about unless you know the context. This also applies to safety measures carried out by the wrestlers, like when Randy Orton challenged Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship at Battleground 2017. The bout marked the return of the Punjabi Prison. The structure itself is actually the old blue cage, painted to look like bamboo. The design means it could be slippier to climb, especially late into the match when the wrestlers have been sweating buckets. Towards the end of Orton and Mahal's match, Randy can be seen blowing on his fingertips. Jinder revealed why on the Maven Huffman YouTube channel.
After I watched it, I was like, yo, why were you blowing your fingers? He's like, because they were slippery. So Kali's shaking the cage. Right. And during the day when we rehearsed it, Randy's hands were dry.
That's when he said they're slippery.
Yeah,
want to be able to hold
because I have oil over me. Yeah. I have conditioner in my hair. Randy's oiled up, sweat.
Yep.
Yeah, he's blowing on his fingers to
so
make
he can hold on.
Yeah. Because that was pretty risky. That was very dangerous. There's no crash pad under us.
And he's inverted. You slip, you fall on your head. Game over.
Going back to the old cage, it was also said to be quite unforgiving on the body. Aside from the Punjabi Prison, this cage was only used on international shows after '99. The steel cage that replaced it has also been altered in different ways over the years, but one change you might not have noticed relates to the door. This occurred after one of the first matches, where the updated silver chain link structure was used, that being Kane and Triple H's match from the February 1st, 99 Raw. During the bout, X-Pac interfered and smashed the door into Kane. The Big Red Machine was gushing, courtesy of a nasty gash, because part of the lock nailed him in the head. Following this injury, the latch position was switched going forward so that it didn't stick out on the inside.
X-Pac slammed the door into my head. Like, do it again.
Second one did.
The second one looked really good.
Second one was
because
right
it was very real.
Yeah.
What had happened was because of this, they actually switched the design of the cage door because they had a latch, like they had the door frame and then this kind of nub that came off of it was a nub that came around and hit me. So when he slammed it, you normally get blocked with your shoulder and you just, go into the metal fencing part of it. I missed all that. And just that part hit me square in the head. I mean, it went all the way down to my skull. It was bad. I mean, it was, when Mick Foley walks in the locker room and you're sitting there and Mick's like, oh my God, what happened to you? You're
That's
like,
when you know.
Yeah.
That's when you know. I
need to get to the hospital like right now.
Yeah.
Kane is involved again here as we go to the 1998 SummerSlam. On the night, the New Age Outlaws defeated Mankind and Kane for the tag team titles. Although the Big Red Monster didn't appear until after, when he rose up from inside a dumpster. Mankind was already in there, so Kane destroyed his rival with a sledgehammer.
Kane! Come
It certainly looked like the 7-foot monster leveled Mankind with the hammer. However, he obviously didn't need to whack him for real, since the hardcore legend wasn't visible. In his audiobook, Kane explained what actually happened.
I popped up out of the dumpster holding a sledgehammer, ready to smash Mick's head in. And I did. No one could see Mankind lying in the bottom of the dumpster, but they could hear it when I caved his skull in with the hammer. What they actually heard was me smashing a giant watermelon.
Mick Foley is no stranger to taking a low blow, since he's known for having plenty of testicular fortitude, as he liked to put it. One of the last times he received the move was on the March 13, 2017 Raw, courtesy of Stephanie McMahon. During an Inside the Ropes live show, Foley recalled being hit below the belt by Stephanie.
So now it comes to a low blow, and Stephanie hasn't given a low blow in like 10 years. And I was like, you only get one shot.
What does Foley think he's doing? Foley's lost it! He's got the mandible claw in the game, and now Stephanie from behind with a low blow!
Mick also revealed the secret to executing a traditional low blow to ensure it doesn't hurt the nether regions.
Okay, you want to know the secret of the low blow is? You can hit someone as hard as you want, as long as the contact point is between the guys and the butthole. If you can make contact with that little bit of space there, it's often known as the taint. So it was a dramatic uppercut to the Foley taint. And it was just done with great ferocity. It looked great. You only have one angle, and yeah, it was good stuff.
Everyone knows Ric Flair was the king of the low blow, but one thing fans may not have understood about Flair is why he wore knee pads around his shins. One might think this defeats the purpose of wearing pads meant for the knees. In an old internet chat room on his website, Kevin Nash joked that Ric's skin was so saggy the knee pads had become shin pads the older he got.
I've never understood for 25 years that Nate has worn his knee pads below his knees. What's with that?
It's a trademark, I guess.
Are they actually shin pads?
Well, the shin drop or the knee drop has been one of his top moves. Here we go.
The real reason why the Nature Boy wore his knee pads so low was revealed by Eugene on his YouTube channel.
Much like Ric Flair used to wear his knee pads over his shins and not over his knees. Side note, David Flair told me one time the reason Ric Flair does that is because he felt like he didn't have any calves.
We'll hear from Kevin Nash again for this next entry, as we highlight Hulk Hogan's famous heel turn from Bash at the Beach 96. The wrestlers and fans were so caught up in the iconic moment that you might not remember the 6-man tag pitting Sting, Lex Luger and Macho Man against the NWO never actually had a finish. That's because Hogan threw out the referee, therefore the bout ended in a no contest, when in reality, the New World Order was supposed to win by pinfall.
I remember Scott looking at him going, whatever you do, man, make sure the referee counts 3. And the first thing he does is picks up the referee and throws him out of the ring. And Scott has to do the count. If you look back at it, there's never a count at the match of like us actually beating them. And that's, those little details are priceless.
Anytime you see the announce table destroyed, it's often been rigged to blow or gimmicked ahead of time. That's because there's plenty of times when the desk just doesn't break when it's supposed to. In these cases, the table may still have been armed for destruction, but the equipment likely malfunctioned.
One of the things you don't know about that table is it only breaks if you land on it flat. If you hit it on the corner, it's like that brick house that the third little pig built, right? It does not move.
If everything goes off without a hitch, then the wrestler's fall will be broken by underneath padding. Maven Huffman discussed this on his YouTube channel.
The production staff would actually jam and shove a crash pad to the back of the table before the guests even came into the arena. Now, they have an inflatable air mattress that they can inflate and deflate whenever they need it. And that provides a better illusion for you, the viewer. Because once the wrestler lands and he's safely on the ground and your attention is somewhere else, they can deflate the bag and the announce table appears to be touching the floor.
WWE have also used other means of destroying the desk in the past, but these didn't always work as well. Like during Vince McMahon's infamous tumble through the table at St. Valentine's Day Massacre 99, Spanish announcers Hugo Savinovich and Carlos Cabrera were instructed to remove a pin before impact, so that the desk could break Vince's fall. However, Hugo and Carlos had trouble doing this, which they spoke about in an interview with Wrestling News Co.
He's got to be 20 feet off the floor. No! McMahon fell 20 feet off the steel cage.
Boss is gonna fall and we cannot take the freaking pin out.
I said, oh my God, de la ooh, finally the pin is on. Boom.
We've seen plenty of unique one-off entrances in WWE, some of which have made us question how exactly they were done. At WrestleMania 23, John Cena famously drove into the arena by smashing through a panel of glass. Pink shirt fan Chris, of the neon couple who used to sit in the front row, revealed how it was done. The outside part was filmed the night before, as a stunt driver was behind the wheel at all times. The glass shattering was done live with Cena in the car. However, John switched places with the stuntman before exiting the vehicle. This made it look like Cena was the one driving the whole time. 2 years later at Mania 25, Triple H also smashed through glass but with a sledgehammer. Like with Cena's spot, this was filmed ahead of time. It would have been too dangerous performing this with live fans due to the glass flying everywhere. You can see there is no glass in the background once the camera shot changes from the tape portion to the live shot. The more obvious giveaway comes from fan cams of people who were there live. Here you can see how Triple H has no sledgehammer, nor does he smash anything. Our last entry is one you could have easily missed, as it shows how much of a pro The Miz is. On the January 17, 2022 Raw, Miz's wife Maryse laid out Beth Phoenix with a loaded purse. Once it came time to show off what was in the purse, Miz stopped Maryse from doing so. That's because replays of the incident were still playing on the big screen. The Miz realized this, so he stopped his spouse right in the nick of time, so as to not spoil the big reveal.
In a bad way. Are you kidding me?
Now if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our similar video on 10 deleted WWE moments you'll never see on TV again. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.